Hi loves, let's turn on the comments. Okay, hopefully the lighting's okay in here. Hopefully we're okay. It's really gloomy out, so the lighting might be funky, but that's okay. And my camera's shaking. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are aware of the Turpin story. I think it was a story that came out last year. And it was a story about a family out in California where the parents, the mother and the father, had 13 children, and they kept these children locked in the basement, chained to the beds, and they basically tortured these kids. So I became familiar with this story when it came out in the news, but then I watched a documentary. It was called The Turpin 13, and it was on the Oxygen channel. And then I also believe that there's another documentary out about this, the whole case, called House of Horrors. And in 3 words, hey sweetheart, hey love, yay! Jessica, you caught alive, yay! Hey cat, you love my lipstick, thanks. It's a mix of a whole couple of things, including concealer. I'll show you guys one day how I do my lips with that look. But yeah, so there was another documentary called House of Horrors, and honestly, in 3 words, that totally, absolutely encompasses what went on in this freaking house. Because when I watched the documentary, hey, I think that's Linda. Sorry, it's kind of bright under these lights, but. So it was these 2 parents, the man and the woman. The man kind of was the ringleader of this whole thing, and then the woman was one of those women who's kind of insecure, and she fell into his trap. And they had 13 kids. They ranged from, hey Zany, I think, yay, finally able to watch it live. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you for the compliment on this top. It's actually from Walmart, believe it or not, but from a while, like a couple years ago. But I'll show you the outfit. I think I showed this outfit in how to make this visit appropriate in one of my visit outfit, visit outfit of the weekend, or like visit outfit of the season videos a while ago. They're all in a playlist. But anyway, so let's go back to the Turpins. So the wife was insecure. She married him. She kind of fell into his trap. They had children from ages, when they were finally caught, ages 2 to 29, 13 of them. So they kept them in the basement. And okay, so they had them chained to the bed. They wouldn't, in this documentary, it was disgusting. They wouldn't really feed them very much. They found them in urine and feces. They would let them bathe or shower if they were lucky. If they were lucky, once a month, usually less. And then there was accounts from the neighbor in the documentary, and she said that she was living next door, and she would watch in the middle of the night. He would get his children up. This man would get his children up, and he would make them march up and down in the backyard. So they were only awake at night, and then they kept them chained to their beds in the basement all day. And so this woman was saying, like, she would tell her kids, don't go over there, stay away. I don't want you playing with those kids. I don't want you talking to those kids. And in the documentary, she was kind of saying that she was kicking herself because she's like, I knew something was wrong and I never pursued it. Like, I wanted it to be like, don't ask, don't tell. Those people are strange. I don't know what's going on. Something is weird there, but I would rather not know. And that's a lesson for everybody. No. If you don't want to get involved, call the police and let them know. So anyway, so those were a couple of the things that they said. The parents turned into swingers, and they would leave the kids in the basement, and they would go out and they would get wasted and party all night long, kind of having like a midlife crisis, I guess. And then they would come home, and they would have things like cakes and donuts and all of these treats on the counters, and they would eat it. And they would make the kids who were starving, who were filthy, who were chained to their beds, they would make them watch them eat this. It was absolutely disgusting. So even if you just say, I could be way off, but something is absolutely, Jess, absolutely. So even if you're like, something is really, really wrong, say something to somebody. If something appears even a little bit wrong, say something to somebody. So, and I know we're all in that position, right? Because most people that watch these videos have a loved one who's incarcerated. And so we don't want to be the ones who call in the authorities, but you guys, come on. There were 13 children. When these children were finally found, and I'll get into that in a minute, when these children were finally found, yes, one was 29 years old, but they didn't have the mental capacity over like 13 years old, I think it was. They didn't know how to use cell phones. They didn't know how to interact with people because they didn't go to school. They weren't taught anything. They literally were just survival of the fittest in their basement. It was disgusting. So once one of the girls was able to escape, and she ran through the woods like in her dirty night clothes and no shoes, and somebody actually picked her up and brought her home. She was like, help, help, help. I'm trying to get away. And they thought that she was a runaway, and they dropped her off at home only for her to be tortured and beat even further. So finally, a few years after that, I think it was 2 years later, yes, right, screw that when it comes to kids, I'll talk. Absolutely. Yep, so they bring her home, they think she's a runaway, and so 2 years later, finally, she works up the nerve, and she runs, like, I think it was 5 miles barefoot in the woods, and she finally got somebody to listen, and they arrested these people. So it's been a year since the arrest and since the documentaries. Again, if you guys are interested, it was called the Turpin 13 was the one that I watched, and it was, I believe on the Oxygen Network, and then there's another one called House of Horrors. I don't know, I just saw that in one of the articles that I saw, and I don't know where that was. I don't know if it was actually a movie in the theaters. I don't know if it was a documentary from another channel. I'm not sure, but I'm sure if you Google it, you can find it if you're interested in watching this horrific documentary. So today the parents were sentenced to 25 years to life in California, and it's the reason I thought to make this video was because it came up at work. People were talking about it, and one of the guys at work was like looking at me like he doesn't know, but he knows about my situation. He was one of the guys that confronted me. The whole reason why back in 2012 I pulled down my YouTube, all my videos off of YouTube, and I didn't come back here until this past summer 2018 because my friend was like, too bad, Ro, let's go, you're back on YouTube. So that's because I had to keep my professional job, and I didn't want people there to know about my prison relationship, even though my face was all over YouTube at the time. I had like 300 videos on YouTube. I don't know. All I know is he knows because this guy at work, he, it says it in the article. I'll let you know. Jessica, how, where in California it is in 1 second. If you Google Turpin 13, sentencing, it'll come up, but I'll tell you in 1 sec because I have it up on my iPad right next to me. But anyway, so this guy at work, he was one of the ones that confronted me about my lifer boyfriend at the time. So I know in the back of his head, he knows, and he's looking at me and he's like, don't you think some people shouldn't go to prison? Don't you think they should go to a mental hospital? Yes, I do believe that about some people. Now, this is where I need to be very clear. I am in no way, shape, or form a prison abolitionist. I couldn't get that word out. I am not an abolitionist. I believe that there are people who do deserve and need to be in prison. My husband, at 23 years old, was one of those people. Prison saved him. Prison saved his life. Prison got him off the street. I am not an activist. I am not, yes, I am an advocate. I am not necessarily an activist all the time, and I am 100% not an abolitionist. And I believe that this couple needs their 25 to life. Are you kidding me? They tortured their children. When the kids were describing how they were chained to the beds, they were like, they were asking the police, they were asking them, were they ropes? No, you guys, they showed it in the documentary. They were chains chains with cuffs at the end of them. And you mean that this guy he should belong in a mental hospital and not in a prison? I'm sorry, no. I shouldn't say he deserves to be tortured or to suffer because I am not God, but he deserves, in my opinion, to be in jail. He does. I don't believe in sentences that are longer than they should be. I don't believe in COs punishing inmates. I don't believe in the way that we run our American prisons, but I do believe that there are situations and instances where people do belong in prison. No, I do not think that Mr. Turpin and Mrs. Turpin need to be in a mental hospital. And I turned to my friend, I kind of got like snippy with him, and I go, there are a lot of people in jail who belong in a mental hospital. There are a lot of people in mental hospitals who might belong in jail. But to be honest, this man does not belong in a mental hospital. He knew what he was doing. When you hear the cries of your children when you're beating them, you do have a mental problem, but you deserve to be in jail. That's my opinion. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody. I don't know, but that's my opinion. So let me find out where in California. You guys, let me know your thoughts while I am looking that up. Do you think that they deserve to be in a mental hospital? Do you think that they deserve jail? What do you think? I saw Ray posted and was like, hell no, they deserve to be in jail. This is out of sorry, an ad popped up. Riverside, thank you. The mother actually said, I'm sorry for everything during sentences. He puts those kids in a prison. He needs to go. What he did was absolutely horrible and not excusable. Thank you, Sarah. I feel the same way. So the mother was apologizing. I'm sorry for everything. One of the kids, they call them like Jane and John Doe, and then they number them because they're minors. So one of them said she sobbed softly. This was Jane Doe number 4, wiping her tears. At one point, she reached out to Pet Raider, a police dog brought in to provide emotional support to traumatized victims in court, and blah blah blah. Okay, so that's not really helping. I saw some quotes before that I wanted to read to you guys because they were just heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. My parents took my whole life from me, Jane Doe number 4 said. But now I'm taking my life back. Good for her. These children are so mentally strong. I'm a fighter. I'm strong. I'm shooting through life like a rocket, she said as her mother cried and wiped tears from her eyes. One of the sons said, he's John Doe number 2. He says, I cannot describe in words what we went through growing up. Sometimes I still have nightmares of things that happened, such as my siblings being chained up or getting beaten. No, he doesn't belong in a mental hospital. But he added, that's in the past and this is now. Today he's going to college and working toward a degree in software engineering, he said. He learned how to swim and ride a bike last year and sometimes takes long rides. He also learned, he said, to advocate for himself. He added a kind word for his parents and extended forgiveness. Wow. I love my parents, he said. I have forgiven them for a lot of things that they did to us. Well, I need to take a note out of John Doe's book. The children will succeed in spite of you, the judge says. Good for that judge. Before sentencing the couple, the judge said, and his name was Bernard Schwartz, he addressed the defendants, the parents, emphasizing children are indeed a gift, not only to their parents and families, but also to society. Maybe they'll become a scientist and discover a cure for some disease, or go be a doctor or first responder and save someone's life. Maybe they'll enter the military and protect our country, he said. The selfish, cruel, and inhumane treatment of your own children has deprived them, your family, your friends, and society, and especially both of you, of those gifts. Their lives have permanently been altered and their ability to grow, learn, and thrive. To the extent that they do thrive, it will not be because of you both, but in spite of you both. The court also placed new protective orders for each of the children, tailoring their length to each of the to each child. Good. According to the attorney for Louise Turpin, 10 of the children have 10-year restraining orders in place, 2 have 5-year restraining orders in place, and 1 had the restraining order dropped. Schwartz said the others prevent David and Louise Turpin from having personal contact with their children, whether in prison, by mail, phone, social media, or through third parties. Then this says they were tied up and shackled to beds. Like we said before, no child deserves that type of treatment. I'm going to hug my son right now. Please, please do. Please do. When the Turpin children were found in their Paris, P-E-R-R-I-S, I guess that's where their home in California was. And one thing that they said in the documentary was that they would bounce around. So I'm not sure where they started, but I know they were in Utah at one point. I know they moved to California at one point. As soon as neighbors started questioning and people started questioning, he would pack them all up in a van and leave. And I think that's how the neighbor that I told you guys was like, I don't want to get involved. I think once they left that one spot where she was the next door neighbor, she and her daughter somehow got into the basement and they saw the chains on the beds, and they were put in the documentary. The pictures were put in the documentary, and they saw just how awful it was. So I'm just going to read some of the facts about what was going on with the children in those basements. They ranged from ages 2 to 29, but some of the adults were so malnourished they looked like young teenagers. None of them had seen a doctor in more than 4 years, and none of them had ever visited a dentist. Oh, poor kids. The children were often tied up for weeks or even months at a time, the Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestrin said last year. The victims told investigators that being tied with ropes was initially a form of punishment, but when one victim escaped, the parents started using chains and padlocks to shackle some of the children to beds. And after years of isolation, he said the children seemed to lack a basic knowledge of life. So I think about my husband being shackled and cuffed and it makes me want to vomit. Could you imagine thinking about a child ages 2 to 29 being shackled and cuffed? Disgusting. A daring escape is the next part. If not for the bravery of a 17-year-old girl, so she was 17, Her imprisoned siblings might have never been found. The teen had planned her escape for more than 2 years. She grabbed a deactivated cell phone found in the house and fled through a window before she called the police. The bold getaway led to the discovery of her the discovery of her siblings, and uncovered one of the worst, most aggravated child abuse cases I have ever seen, the judge said. Wow, just wow. So you guys, please do, I think it was Jessica that just said, please go hug your children a little bit tighter. Please, if you see something funky or wrong, please make sure you say something. Please make sure you call. I know that we struggle with being prison wives and family members and we don't want to do anything, but if something's being wrong to a child, you guys, it's not about that. It's about protecting our children. It is about getting them away from abusers. Okay, so I have a really fun video coming. I'm going to do a live tomorrow. That's fun about like countdowns and how we all count differently, and it's really cute because it's around Easter. And I thought of this because of one of my friends, how she counts the days between Good Friday and Easter. Very cute. More just lighthearted and fun, because the past few videos of mine have been a little bit angry about some crazy stuff going on in this world. So aside from today's vegan video, and you guys let me know in that video that I posted before this about my diet and what I changed a little bit and how I quit being vegan after 3 years. Let me know if you like that kind of content. Just go over to that video and comment and let me know if you want me to keep doing fitness and lifestyle. And I was asked for a video on my skincare, and I was asked for a video on my hair, and I did my hair a while ago, but I just want to know if you guys want that lifestyle kind of stuff, or if you just want me to stick 100% to the prison wife, prison content, because I'm here for you guys. So, you guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you beautiful ladies and gentlemen in the next one.